It's the last call for discounted tandem skydives at the 3rd annual USMC Scout Sniper Association Skydive Boogie at Jumptown Skydiving in Orange, Mass. We'll see you next Saturday, July 12th at Jumptown. This event is open to all veterans of all ages and all branches, with an after party in Phillipston, Massachusetts at the Red Apple Farm. Go to the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. It's happening July 12th. There's links to get information and to book your tandem skydive. And if you just want to come out and watch, it's a family-friendly event that's open to everyone.
Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mrs. Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 265 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. Welcoming once again Collective Soul bassist Will Turpin. Will first appeared on the Mistress Carrie podcast on episode 132 on December 14th, 2022. And now the band is celebrating their 30th anniversary with their double album, Here to Eternity, their upcoming documentary, Give Me a Word, The Collective Soul Story, that comes out on July 8th, and a massive tour that includes a bunch of stops. If you're a Pike or Laser listener in Massachusetts, you can see Collective Soul in Bridgeport, Connecticut at the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater on July 27th. If you listen to my show on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine, they'll be in Bangor, Maine at the Maine Savings Amphitheater on July 30th. Listeners to the Mistress Carrie Show on 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina, they'll be at Credit One Stadium on August 6th. And finally, another stop in New England at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom in Hampton, New Hampshire on September 25th. Get the link to get tickets for all of the shows in the show notes of this episode. Will and I talked about the upcoming documentary documenting the recording of their double album in Elvis's house in Palm Springs, but we talked about so much more. I love it when Will comes on the show, and I am so excited that he's back. So allow me to reintroduce you to Will Turpin from Collective Soul. Mr. Will Turpin, thank you for coming back on the show.
Yeah, glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
You guys have got a lot going on since the last time I talked to you.
What is it with Collective Soul? We don't take breaks, do we?
It's seriously what we talked about. Now, you were on the show, episode 132 back in December of 2022 when Vibrating came out. And you talked about how you guys are just constantly looking to go back into the studio as soon as you finish a project, that you're just itching to get back in the studio again. It's been 30 years.
Should we slow down?
No, I'm not telling you to slow down. I'm impressed by how steady you guys are.
Yeah, I mean, I think knowing Ed and Dean my whole life and stuff, I think it's real easy for us to have that same energy that we've always had, as far as we still feel the same way about creating. It's not like we're athletes and we can't run as fast anymore. Yeah, we can't run as fast right now, but we're musicians. We don't have to run fast. So creatively, we still do we're in our heads, we're still that same young band that keeps wanting to do the next thing. And so, yeah, it was kind of different for us to take a little bit of a moment to look back on things with the documentary that came out. That's kind of different for us, but I was real happy with the way that turned out also.
Well, I had Ed on the show last May when you guys finished recording in Elvis's house in Palm Springs. And he was telling me all about it, but at the time, you guys hadn't announced the documentary yet. And it's coming out on the 8th. Like, it's coming out in a few days.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought for me, that was the coolest thing that we did with the documentary was combined real-time footage of us recording an actual record in Elvis's estate, which is fun. And then we did the whole rewind. Let's go back to the beginning kind of vibe. I thought that was a really cool production idea. When we started the documentary, that was probably 4 years ago, and we were kind of we were being our own production company, trying to collect a bunch of footage. We were starting to come up with a list of people to interview and such. And after a couple years, we had done a lot, but we were bogged down a little bit, so to speak, because we were kind of doing it, as far as producing, we were executive producing it ourselves. And then through Fred Crochelle, who's been running our label for a long time now, we met Phonetics, the production company out of LA area, and they had just finished the Immediate Family documentary about the studio guys with James Taylor. And
I interviewed those guys when that came out. Those guys, they're just reading their resume. I was like, oh man.
Yeah. So anyway, they had just finished that, and they wanted to pick up where we left off. And it was when they got on board, that was really the twist that really got the documentary to the finish line. And we were about to go record in Elvis's house. So that was the idea. Hey, bring it to Elvis's house. Now we're going to combine, the boys, the band in the day recording something brand new at Elvis's place. And then we'll mix in the footage of a little bit of the history lesson, so to speak. You know what I mean?
When I talked to Ed last year and he told me about the project, the double album, I didn't even know Elvis had an estate in Palm Springs.
Yeah, he got into that Palm Springs vibe. And his house, like I said, we found out a friend of a friend had his house. He had left it. It was just like it had been left. No one had lived in there for a long time. It was an absolute time capsule. Red carpet in Elvis's bedroom. Couple things were in disrepair. There was some leaks in the roof. There was only one bathroom was working, but the pool was good. We were able to swim, and we transformed his main living room. We just got some nice rugs in there, and it doesn't take long to go down Main Street, Palm Springs, and find some really cool furniture and stuff like that. So we dressed it up, and we lived there for a month pretty much, and recorded a record in Palm Springs. It's kind of it's a smaller community, so everybody knew who Collective Soul was within about 10 days. Everybody knew, that's Collective Soul. They're at Elvis's house, because when we hang together, we kind of stick out. And there's only so many places to hang in Palm Springs, so we were all over the place.
I have a mid-century modern house, and there's just a certain vibe.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
The best.
Is there something going back, looking at the career of the band, putting this documentary together, that you forgot about?
Lots. Lots. And between me, Ed, and Dean, we all have sometimes slightly different memories of exactly how things went down. But yeah, of course there's things you forget. Matter of fact, I saw our Ed, doing a promo for the tour this summer with Ed Kowalczyk. And Ed mentioned the first time we met the guys in live in '94. We had parked our tour buses off site at Woodstock, and we were all in a van together going to the backstage artist compound. And I remember this story like yesterday, but I'd forgotten it. But we were all young and super excited because we all had our own guitar picks with our names on them. So we exchanged guitar picks in the van on the way to the artist compound. And just a lot of things that one of us might remember and the other one doesn't,
When I talked to Ed last year, Woodstock came up for two reasons. One, you guys are one of the only bands that played both 94 and 99. And two, I was at both. So
Right.
as a fan, so I was curious what your memories and recollections of 94 versus 99 were.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much a tangible black and white difference. 94 was these green grass, rolling hills. You know, we played on Friday night. Rain didn't come in until Saturday.
I was going to say the green grass and rolling hills didn't last all weekend.
It did not last all weekend. I understood. Matter of fact, half that grass ended up on stage when Billy Joe and dared people to throw stuff at him.
I was there. I was part of it.
Which is another iconic moment of that weekend. But Friday night was gorgeous, and it was us and a lot of bands that were new. Us, Sheryl Crow, another one that played both 94 and 99, Sheryl Crow, Live, Blues Traveler, Candlebox, and King's X also played that Friday night. They weren't a new band at that time, but that one's iconic to me because that would have been probably my favorite band from that era, from the late 80s through the 90s. They really spoke to me as a three-piece that sounded like the Beatles meet Led Zeppelin and Rush or something. I don't know. It was just it was just one of my favorite bands. So I remember meeting them. I basically was running when I saw them all three together. I realized by the time I got closer to them, I was almost running. But I got to meet them and watch them, and a lot of those friendships we still have today. We just played a cruise, a rock and roll cruise with Blues Traveler. And, you know, we sit down, we talk to these guys we've known for 30 years, and we're all still friends. We've all done a lot together over the years. We've toured together over the years. That Woodstock 94 was gorgeous and beautiful. And then you get backstage, Woodstock 99, it's like, oh, cool, man, we're on a hot tarmac right now, some black cement. And you start talking to everybody, and even backstage, it was a little bit of like, yeah, people are pissed, man. They're charging $4 for water out there, and and da-da-da. And I was like, this isn't the warm, fuzzy feeling I got in 94. But, I still feel like, that 99 set, the Collective Soul set, has been, all of it's been re-released on mastered in high def or whatever. But, that was a great era in our music. So I think we crushed the set. But it was an absolutely tangible difference between 1994 and 99. And obviously, what happened the rest of the weekend.
Well,
99.
that was the thing. Because I went to 94 and lived through the mud, when 99 came around, I was like, okay, we need to go in an RV. We need to bring our own food and water so we can be dry. The porta potties in 94 were the things of a horror film. So I was like, I want to have my own bathroom. So me and my friends were in an RV in 99 and were kind of protected from a lot of the really bad things that were going wrong.
Right.
And I didn't realize, obviously when the riots broke out and the fires all started, we knew something was weird. But until those documentaries came out, I didn't realize it was as bad. And I feel bad because for years I've been like, 99 was awesome. We had such a great time, but we were kind of prepared for a shit show and most people weren't.
Yeah, and I know somebody else who's like, I kind of cruised through it. Me and my son kind of cruised through it. He was with his teenage son. It depends on where you were, but tangible difference, man. And the documentary explains it perfectly. It was 94, they felt like they missed the boat on profiting. 99, they went way over the line trying to profit. And that's, to me, that's the sum of the story between 94 and 99.
You even have the Woodstock ticket behind you. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it when artists talk to me while they're at home. I can tell you're at home because all your cool stuff is on the wall.
I call this my office. I got some instruments, and some of my favorite things are on the wall. There's my Van Halen signed Balance tour. There's a Wings banner from '77, I think, when they were on tour. And not a lot of Collective Soul stuff. I don't like to be too vain, but the Fillmore in San Francisco always does really cool independent artists, and they still do the posters or the tour announcement posters. And that one right there, I think is probably 2000-ish. Let's see, 2015. So, but yeah, I've got maybe 5 or 6 from the San Francisco Fillmore. I should probably put them all like right next to each other because they're cool. It's not a picture of me. As long as it's not a picture of me on there, I'm good with putting it on the wall.
Are those real Beatles tickets behind you?
Yeah, that's a really cool piece that actually my father got that, and it's a list of the tour from '64, and it's an individual ticket from every show in 1964, the American tour.
The Boston one's got to be up there. They played at Suffolk Downs.
Yeah, it's all up there. There's one from every place, and my father saw them in Atlanta at Fulton County Stadium, which is no more. But
wow. I have a prediction for this weekend because the big final Black Sabbath and Ozzy concert's happening in Birmingham, England. And because Ozzy is such a huge Beatles fan, because Sabbath are such huge Beatles fans, you and I, the last time you were on the show, we talked about what huge Beatles fans we are. I have a prediction that McCartney's going to show up. Yeah.
I guarantee he would do it. I follow McCartney still. I guarantee he'd love to do it if they ask him.
That's when they added Steven Tyler from Aerosmith to the bill. I was like, they're bringing him in to do Come Together with Paul McCartney. I'm saying it now, so when I'm right this weekend, everybody can go, she knows what she's talking about.
Ooh, good call. I like it. I'll buy that.
I got to talk to you about Fenway Park because I know that you and Ed obviously have ties to Boston because of Berkeley. Last summer, because you guys were playing, I went to the Hootie and the Blowfish show at Fenway. And I want to know what it was like for you to be on that stage because as a fan, as somebody that grew up in Boston, it's still weird to go to concerts at Fenway to me. It's just so strange to go into historic Fenway Park and see a stage and rock bands on stage. So what was it like for you to play there?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely historic. And it's when you look at the tour that you sign on for, it's like this huge, big star asterisk right by that date, you know. But yeah, the promoter there started, putting a stage right out there in left field and doing shows. No, that just sticks out in your life and as your career. And of course, I made sure all 3 of my boys were here and my wife, and we spent 3 days and we had a day off before and a day off afterward, and we stayed in Boston and. I really love that town. I've biked around it so much. I've always kept my bike on the bus, and I'm a bit of a history buff as well. So I've seen. It's cool to see these things multiple times. You really get to know it. I haven't seen Bunker Hill just once. You know, I haven't seen the whole everything there. The whole independent. What is it called? The Freedom Trail.
Yeah.
I've ran the Freedom Trail 6 or 7 times for the hell of it, and every time you read, you learn a little more, or you remember something you forgot or whatever. But what a cool town, and always had really good shows there. I mean, for me, it was just like, hey, we just transferred over from the what was the venue on Lansdowne that we used to play that's like adjacent.
Well, there was back in the day, it was Axis and Avalon, and now those are the House of Blues.
Right, it was Axis and Avalon, yes. So I felt like we just moved across the street to the big stadium. No big deal.
No big deal. It's just Fenway Park. No big deal. It's still such an insane vantage point to see a stage in front of the monster. But I love it when bands put pictures up of their view, what you're seeing when we're out in the field, because that view of Fenway is insane.
Yeah, I think they do a great job of setting up a show in there. Again, I can't say enough about it. That's a historic night for us to be able to say we played Fenway Park.
You guys are out on the road with Live for part of the year and then going out on a headlining tour. And because I'm on stations kind of all over the place now, you're going to be in my area a bunch. You're going to be in Bridgeport, Connecticut at the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater, July 27th. In Bangor, Maine on July 30th at the Maine Savings Amphitheater. In Charleston, South Carolina at Credit One Stadium, August 6th. And then back at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom in September, which is one of those old venues that every rock band, it's like a rite of passage. You have to play there.
Yeah, and we've had some special nights there. I think a lot of the Collective Soul fans really love to target that show, even though it's not the most glamorous venue. They love to target that show because it always comes off right there at Hampton Beach.
Hampton's got a vibe. Wooden skee ball balls, fried dough. It's just a thing.
It's there.
I got to talk to you about the Rockin' in Paradise show with Styx because we've been qualifying people for a trip to go in Florida later this year. It's Styx and Friends, so it's kind of like camp for you guys.
Yeah, another band that like gives me chills that I feel like I'm friends with those guys. Tommy's even recorded on some tracks on our record. He recorded some mandolin on the Blood record, song called Porch Swing. So yeah, man, we're looking forward to those things. I've got days off before then, so I'm going in early. I'm going to be there for 2 or 3 nights before we even play, so I can hang out with other people and check out the shows. It's definitely one of the most favorite things I've been afforded to do with rock and roll is be able to, sit there and watch Side Stage with Tommy Shaw, or we toured. God, it was coming right out of COVID. We did like 18 dates with Styx. Tommy Shaw, we invited him on stage to play December with us, and we worked out this really cool thing where him and Jesse go back and forth soloing. That dude, and we're like, hey man, if you want to join us anytime on stage, go ahead. We're not expecting you to do it every night. That guy was the song before December. He was on stage with his guitar, and he'd be in my ears. He'd be noodling on whatever song we were playing before December, right? He'd be noodling, so I'd hear him and I'd be like, that's Tommy playing with us. It wasn't coming out front. He would just be playing with us, and it was in our ears. That guy didn't miss a date. He loves music. He loves what he does. And, oh, my gosh, he just celebrated a birthday. I believe it was 74. It might have been 72. I might be screwing him up there a little bit. But regardless, he's on top of his game. And, we're looking forward to the whole Styx thing, man. And be able to say we're one of Styx's friends is, again, like one of the best honors I could think of.
We talked about Woodstock. You talk about Styx and Friends. There's so many festival experiences that bands can have now. And I'm curious as a music fan, right? Because there's so many times that you don't get to see other bands live because you're touring too, but these festivals, they bring everybody together. What's your favorite festival experience as a fan that you got to watch on the side of the stage and just nerd out because you had a pass that got you there?
Well, I mean, definitely 94 with King's X, and I'm watching King's X play in front of 350,000 people, and we're a couple bands from them. That experience was just a cross between shocking and getting to see one of your favorite bands of all times. Man, the festival shows, there's so many good ones where it's just like, heck, we did a weekend with Cheap Trick and played two shows with Cheap Trick. And Rick Nielsen pulls me on stage 2 nights in a row to sing Surrender with them, yeah, that was pretty good. It just happened. There's so many good ones where I'm sitting there side stage and like pinching myself.
When you're in a band for 30 years, as close as you guys are, growing up together, going to school together, I know you guys are probably one of the healthiest bands I think I've ever met. But there's always a stupid fight with family, brothers. When I talked to Steven Tyler years ago, he told me one of the biggest fights Aerosmith ever got in was over that drum part at the beginning of Ragdoll. That it was like a knockdown, drag-out fight in the studio. Do you guys have a ridiculous fight that you look back on and go, I can't believe we fought about that?
Man, we've always been I used to use the word laser. Once we figure out where we're going with the song, we're all in the same laser, moving straight down the path. There's never been any great musical arguments. We might have different opinions on what the single's going to be or something like that. But ultimately, I think we all are able to check our ego and be like, it's not like any of us have a crystal ball, and we can predict the future. So at some point, it's kind of futile to argue about art at some point. But I mean, disagreements, yeah, no fights over music. Fights have always been over other stupid stuff. Yeah.
Do you ever fight about what Ed is wearing when he comes out of the dressing room? Because his wardrobe rivals any wardrobe I have ever seen by anyone.
No fights, just sometimes I tell him he looks ridiculous, and then sometimes I tell him he looks great. There's no fights, though.
I meant to ask you earlier when we were talking about Paul McCartney. I wanted to talk to you about, because you grew up with music and your dad was in a studio and you're kind of just surrounded by it all the time. Can you talk to me about Black Sabbath's influence on you, or a favorite song, just because everybody's talking about him this week with the big show this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, War Pigs is something we used to warm up backstage. We used to have and it was probably something we did for at least 8 years, maybe a decade. That was one of the ones that would get our blood flowing. And it was basically the same 3 or 4 tunes, and War Pigs was one of them. So that was one that would help us. Oh, okay, it's time to get our hearts pumping. We got to get some energy going here. And then we were real big fans of Ozzy, especially Blizzard of Oz. We're known for covering Crazy Train. There's really good versions of us performing Crazy Train on Woodstock '99. If you YouTube it, yeah, you'll see our version of Crazy Train. So yeah, I mean, Ozzy and Black Sabbath were a big influence to us.
The last time you were on the show, we spent a lot of time talking about Dolly and her winning a Grammy covering Shine. And you had put the word out there that you guys would love to work with her. She's been doing a lot more stuff with rock bands. Have you made any progress getting in touch with Dolly and collabing with Dolly?
No, but we have made progress reacquainting ourselves with Dolly. She made an appearance on the documentary. So I think you might manifest it. You know, you're good at predicting things. So I think you might have just manifested the next collab that Dolly needs is Collective Soul backing her up.
People doubt my power, and that is a mistake. They should not doubt my power.
I'm in. I like your idea.
So when you guys get done touring at the end of the year, obviously you got the documentary, the double album, the big 30th anniversary. What is Collective Soul? What's next? Because I know you guys are already thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, now everybody plans our tours so far ahead of time too. We're already talking about next summer. We started a record last fall, so we've already started another record. Maybe drop a single in the fall or something like that. And you know, we're at 30 years, so I think it's worthy for like maybe a nice box set or something like that for Collective Soul. We've got a lot of records out there, and I think a cool collector's box set would be fun. But we're really enjoying that. You know, there's a lot of different boats when you're in a band. You got your touring boat, your recording boat, and you got all these side projects and everything, but documentaries. Right now, the tide is just rising like crazy with Collective Soul. So we're just really enjoying riding the wave and celebrating the music and the memories that these fans have allowed our songs to be for their lives. We just enjoy celebrating it live with everybody and riding the wave.
In your copious amounts of free time, you also work with a lot of other artists in your studio, producing other artists. So give me the tip on some of the new stuff that you're working with other artists that I should keep my eyes out on.
Oh, we just finished a really cool band out of Mobile called Red and the Revelers. A cross between like a swampy funk soul. Red is a hell of a talent. His music's super fun. Melody Kaiser and a band called Hey Dreamer out of this area. She's super talented. She just graduated from Berkeley, even though she's from this area. Her band's called Hey Dreamer. Check that out. We're working on a new record that's the first one was released a couple years ago. They're working on a new record right now. Yeah, a lot of good stuff happening. We're planning stuff in the fall, but Reel to Reel Studios, you can check the website out. It's basically a production house. I tell people it's a production house. You can come down there and record, but 80% of what we do is our productions. Me and my partner, Brian Collins. So yeah, man, country bands, rock and roll. There's a few genres we don't delve into, but we even just did a really cool hip hop tune with a band called the Blue Jays. Uh, so, artists looking for a little production help in a really cool studio, real close to a huge airport. Reach out to us.
LL Cool J just announced a docuseries on like the birth of hip hop.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he's hosting it, but I thought it was hilarious because it's executive produced by LL Cool J and Peyton Manning.
Peyton's getting into this stuff. He's got a number of other things he's executive producing. So he's putting his money in some really cool creative areas. And hey, people like musicians like us, we love when somebody with that much money and power becomes executive producer. Man, it just lifts us all up, man. We need it.
Well, it's always one of those things where like musicians always want to be athletes and athletes always want to be musicians and musicians want to be actors and actors want to be musicians. It's like those three professions kind of always covet each other.
Yeah, we do love sports. And when we were young, we pull over at rest stops when we were young and be like playing football at the rest stop, literally shirts and skins. I mean, shirts off, diving for footballs. There's a classic story with us and Creed. Scott Stapp kind of threw down the gauntlet, and we're like, nah, oh hell no. You have to learn how to play football from the Georgia boys, and so we all love throwing footballs, frisbees, whatever, man. We keep our disc golf on the bus. Me and Jesse go out and play disc golf every now and then, but.
I don't think anybody could have predicted the return of Creed the way that they have come back. It's unbelievable.
Super strong. We're on a we had a great tour with them in 2001. We're on a boat with those guys next January. I believe it's sold out, but check it out. You can always probably get tickets somewhere else. But yeah, once they got back together, people were ready for it. And that happens a lot, I mean, think about like Poison or some of the 80s bands. They literally couldn't sell, and I'm friends with Bret Michaels, but they couldn't sell tickets for about a 10-year period. They couldn't sell tickets to an 800-seat club. But you get Poison, Warrant, a few of the other guys together, and we're selling out amphitheaters now, So things always come around. Everything's a little bit cyclical. But we've been consistent. We're that band that bats for average, and that's where we are.
You bring up playing football in a rest area. I always ask bands, and especially a band like Collective Soul, because you guys are just touring dogs. Rest areas and truck stops, the shopping is, unless you've traveled the country, you just don't know. What is the craziest thing you have ever gotten at a truck stop?
Oh, wow. That's a good question for Dean. Dean and Jesse really come back from when I wake up the next morning and I'll see the front lounge and there's like, I don't know, like a skull cane with some cubic zirconia on the skull, or lots of different weird stuffed animals, neon lights from the truck stops. Dean's bought gloves from a truck stop before they were white, but he actually wore them every now and then. Yeah, not my forte, but I would love to be able to dial up Dean right now and ask him what he thought.
I'm waiting for somebody to unseat your fellow bass player, Justin Chancellor from Tool, who acquired a full suit of armor.
It's in there. It's in some of the truck stops. There's been swords. There's been like some of those dragon, the big figurines, with like embedded like little, colorful jewels or whatever. All fake, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's been some dragons on the bus. There's been all kind of good stuff. Yep.
You're good for a dragon or a wolf T-shirt at a truck stop, no matter where you are. I always wondered where people got them. That's where.
Wolf T-shirts everywhere at the truck stop.
I don't know why, but they're there.
They are.
Well, I'm excited for I cannot wait to see this documentary because I've been a fan of the band since you guys came out. And the idea that you put this whole thing together celebrating your 30th anniversary and did it around this really cool project at Elvis's house. I'm super excited to see it. The documentary comes out on the 8th. And then in the show notes of this episode, we're going to put the links to all of the shows that you guys are going to be doing so people can come and see you and get tickets.
Right on. Thank you.
It was so good to see you. Thanks for coming on the show again.
Always enjoy talking to you. I appreciate it.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
See you later.
Come see us.
There he is, Will Turpin from Collective Soul, Here to Eternity. The band's double album celebrating their 30th anniversary is available everywhere. And Give Me a Word, the Collective Soul story, the documentary, comes out on July 8th. See him on tour in Bridgeport, Connecticut at the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater with Live on July 27th, in Bangor, Maine at the Maine Savings Amphitheater on July 30th, in Charleston, South Carolina at Credit One Stadium on August 6th, and then on their own tour at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom on September 25th. Get the details on all of those shows in the show notes of this episode. You'll also find all of Will's links, all the Collective Soul links, and the link to this episode's corresponding playlist. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of my guest music and all the artists and songs that we referenced in the interview. You'll find all the Mistress Carrie links too. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, comment, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday, plus every weekday you get the sit rep. The Situation Report gives you all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. Join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern on my official Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube for my weekly streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room. And you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all of that and more at mistresscarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie Podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.